Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for ICP. I'm out on a 4-hour chart and I just wanted to refresh your memory. We had a nice 5-wave move to the upside. Our third came just past our standard targets for our third at the 1.618. We had a nice light retrace for our fourth wave between the 236 and the 382 retracement of the third wave. And then we got our fifth wave extension to the 2.382. So almost an ideal 5-wave impulse. After that, we had a nice 3-wave move to the downside. And if you've been following my videos, I mention over and over, when you start with 3 waves as an A wave, it's a very difficult pattern to trade. These B waves, when you start with 3, are meant to chop up your account. You'll get destroyed if you try and trade within these, unless you're catching a nice 5-wave move off the low. Reason being, it can create patterns like triangles, regular flats, running flats, double combinations. So it's best to either trade above the level or below. Otherwise, you'll just get chopped up and frustrated. So originally, we were anticipating a move to the upside. We had kind of our stop at this area and suggested if we go past that, my bias then turns to the downside, where we're targeting the 1-to-1 extension of this A wave off the B, which is at 869.1. And that is my current bias, that we come back to this 869 level before we attempt to pivot to the upside. I will still leave on the alternate, which is we make a B wave as either a regular flat where we attempt a new high above the 5th. If we make a higher high above the 5th, we'd look for our C wave back and protect the A wave as a running flat. We were leaning towards those ways because in super bullish markets, we tend to get running flats more than zigzags as wave 2s. So that's kind of my bias when it comes to altcoins in a bull market. But now it's been switch to the probabilities that we're making this move to the downside. We did tick through the 618 retracement of this move to the upside, which I now have relabeled as a W wave rather than over here where it was before. Reason being, if this was the W wave, this wave doesn't really match this wave, and that would have to be the matching wave. So this would have to be some sort of double 3 combination as a W. We'd then look for our X after the fact and our Y to the upside. Not worth trading in my point of view. If we got 5 waves up somewhere, then it might be worth a scalp. But other than that, I'm waiting for this move to the downside. That is my bias currently. If you haven't watched my Bitcoin video, I suggest watching it. I think we're going to get a wave down on most of the alts that we've been consolidating in, similar to this. There's a couple. I'm going to go down to the micro on this and I'll show you how nicely our targets line up. The important thing is I am bullish on this coin. People get the wrong idea when I suggest we're coming to the downside. I am very bullish on ICP if a certain scenario happens on Bitcoin. Reason being, this will end up being a large 1-2 as soon as we get down to this. Let's get a 1-2 and we launch for our third. So that's what I am biased towards at the moment. Unless something changes, that's what I'll be looking for. And if we come down to that, where'd my 1-to-1 go? Hang on. Can't see it on the daily. Just wanted to show you that standard target. If we end up pivoting from that target, if this ended up being a 3-wave move as an A, B, C, my target would be $50. If it ends up being a 3rd wave, we'd be going up to the 1.618, which would be $144 if we're on log scale. So just to show you, I am quite bullish on ICP. This is a short-term bearish count. Okay, so let's go down to the hourly. If our B wave is in, we'd be looking for 5 waves to the downside as a C wave, or a 3 wave move if it's a Y wave. Again, we started with 3, so it can be either a W wave over here or an A wave. Only difference is we get 3 or 5. We don't know which one we're going to get. We'll see how many waves we have when we hit this one-to-one target, and if we have a completed correction. So as of right now, we have our wave 1 and 2, looking for our third to come down to the 1.618, which is at 950-ish. Look for our fourth wave to come back to the 100 extension, which would be between the 382 and the 50 of this third wave at 1082, and then the 200 at 874. You can see we have perfect confluence right here for our targets to complete that one-to-one extension. Now we can push a little bit below. That's why I have the 2.382 there at about 806. And what that would do, we prefer to hold this fourth wave level. That's what we prefer. But there is a lot of liquidity right under that level. So you might see a stop run there, just down to that 806 level or slightly below, and then quickly recover. It'll be important what happens right at that level to see if we get that correction. But I will make sure to update and show you how I plan on entering this once we get it. If you want to like and subscribe to make sure you get those updates. But you can see we're coming right into our time zone. If you remember, I put this area on originally when we had these 5 waves up. It's amazing how it happens, right? You just tend to come into the zones you're supposed to. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. 5 waves down. I'm not in a position on this anymore. I'm just waiting for it. This is one of the coins I'm planning on taking a pretty good trade on that I mentioned in the Bitcoin video. But if you haven't seen it, I would suggest watching my last Bitcoin video just to get up to date of my expectations. And if this ends up pivoting up, it shouldn't get away from us. You don't have to worry. This isn't an impulse move. Most likely, I'd be okay with this happening and me missing out, because I'd then consider this to be a running flat and I'd wait for my entry over here. If this happens, you should be very happy and not upset about missing out on this, because this would be very bullish. Very, very bullish. So either way, we have our plan. We know what to expect. Nothing should take us by surprise here. All right, guys, that's it for ICP. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.